The first notification didn't make me suspicious. It made me laugh. Friday, 7:18 p.m., front door locked. I smiled and put my phone back in my pocket. Emily had finally remembered to lock the house before leaving for her girls' weekend in Miami. She'd forgotten 3 times that month. I actually texted her. "Proud of you. You finally remembered the lock." She replied with a laughing emoji. "See? I'm learning." At that moment, I had absolutely no reason to believe my marriage was already falling apart. My name is Nathan Carter. I'm 46 years old. I own a commercial roofing company based in Denver. That particular weekend, I was attending a construction technology conference in Seattle. Emily had been talking for months about a girls' trip to Miami with 3 college friends. Different cities, different weekends, perfect timing. We kissed goodbye Thursday morning. She smiled. "Don't work too hard." I kissed her forehead. "You don't spend too much." She laughed. "I'll try." Neither of us knew technology was about to tell me a story neither human being intended to share. I'm one of those people who enjoys smart gadgets. Not because I'm paranoid, because I travel constantly. 3 years earlier, after someone stole packages from our porch, I installed an entire smart home system. Door sensors, garage sensors, motion detectors, outdoor cameras, indoor cameras that only activated when the house was supposed to be empty, window alerts, water leak monitors, everything connected to one dashboard on my phone. Most people never look at those apps. I checked mine every morning with coffee. Old habit, nothing more. Saturday morning, Seattle greeted me with cold rain. I ordered breakfast downstairs before the first conference presentation. While waiting for eggs and coffee, I casually opened the home dashboard. Everything looked exactly as expected. House status: front door, locked. Back door, locked. Garage, closed. Interior motion, armed. Climate control, eco mode. Perfect. I closed the app. The conference lasted all day. Roofing drones, solar materials, safety software. By dinner, I was exhausted. Emily sent several beach photos. Palm trees, ocean, fancy drinks, 3 women smiling beneath oversized sunglasses. I answered, "Looks like you're having fun." She replied almost instantly, "Wish you were here." That sentence made me smile more than it should have. At 11:46 p.m., I returned to my hotel room. The rain hadn't stopped. I kicked off my shoes, placed my phone on the nightstand, then took my smartwatch off. Just as I climbed into bed, my phone vibrated. Home security notification, garage motion detected. I frowned. That was strange. The garage shouldn't detect motion if nobody was home. Maybe a spider, maybe a sensor glitch. It happened once every few months. I opened the dashboard. The motion lasted exactly 4 seconds, then stopped. Nothing else. No door opened, no camera recording, no alarm. I shrugged. Technology isn't perfect. I turned the screen off. 8 minutes later, another vibration. Garage motion detected. Again. Exactly 4 seconds. I sat up in bed. 2 glitches within 10 minutes? Unusual. I opened the live dashboard. Everything appeared normal. No lights, no movement. Every door still showed locked. I zoomed in on the sensor history. 2 entries, 11:46, 11:54. Identical. I almost restarted the system remotely. Instead, I decided to leave it alone. Me. Saturday became Sunday. Around 2 in the morning Seattle time. Jet lag finally caught up with me. I fell asleep, only to be awakened by another vibration. This one sounded different, higher priority. I reached for my phone, still half asleep. Then I read the notification. Front walkway motion detected. Time, 2:58 a.m. My eyes opened immediately. Someone was standing outside my house. At nearly 3 in the morning, I tapped the live camera. Loading, loading, loading. The picture appeared. Rain covered the camera lens. The front porch looked empty. Probably another false alert. Until someone stepped into frame. A woman, wearing a baseball cap, oversized hoodie, travel suitcase beside her. She looked familiar. Very familiar. Then she looked directly toward the camera. My stomach dropped. Emily. I stared at the screen, confused. Miami. She was supposed to be in Miami, not standing outside our house, almost 1,500 miles away. I immediately opened our text conversation. Her last message, sent only 38 minutes earlier. Read. Girls' night just started. We'll probably stay out until sunrise. Attached beneath it, a selfie on Ocean Drive. Bright lights, cocktail in her hand, palm trees behind her. Timestamp, 2:21 a.m. According to that message, she was still in Florida. According to my front door camera, she was standing on our porch. One of them had to be a lie. Then, another notification appeared. Second person detected on front walkway. Before the camera fully refreshed, a tall man stepped beside her. Emily smiled at him. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a key, and unlocked my front door. The door unlocked, not with force, not by picking the lock. Whoever stood beside Emily knew the code, or had a key. The deadbolt clicked. The front door opened. Then both of them disappeared inside my house. For nearly 5 seconds, I forgot how to breathe. I didn't recognize the man immediately. The camera only caught the side of his face. Baseball cap, dark jacket, broad shoulders, around 6 feet tall. He moved confidently, like he'd been there before. That was the part that frightened me most. Strangers hesitate. He didn't. My first instinct was to call Emily. She answered on the third ring. Music blasted through the speaker. People laughed in the background. "Hey, babe." Her voice sounded cheerful. I stared at my phone. "Where are you?" She laughed. "Miami. I literally sent you pictures." "What are you doing?" "Sitting at a rooftop bar." "You?" I looked at my home dashboard. Living room motion detected. I couldn't sleep. She smiled through the phone. "Miss me already?" I quietly answered, "More than you know." Then I hung up. She never suspected anything. I immediately opened the indoor camera. Loading. Then, nothing. Black screen. Camera offline. I frowned. Every indoor camera, offline. Every single one. That had never happened before. Power outage? No. The thermostat still showed online. The front door camera was online. The garage sensors were online. Only the indoor cameras had disappeared. Someone hadn't unplugged the system. Someone had disabled only the cameras inside the house. Another notification appeared. Kitchen motion detected. How? The camera was offline, yet the motion sensor still worked. I opened the activity log. Kitchen, living room, hallway, staircase, one after another. The dashboard was drawing a map of someone's movement through my house, without showing me who it was. I zoomed into another menu. Device connections. Normally there were 6 connected devices. Mine, Emily's, the television, the smart speaker, the thermostat, the security hub. Tonight, there was a 7th, unknown device connected, Bluetooth. 3 minutes earlier, I tapped it. No name, only a partial identification number. The first 4 digits caught my attention. B7C9. I had seen that sequence before, somewhere. Just not where. I stood and started pacing the hotel room. Think. Where had I seen B7C9? Then it hit me. 2 years earlier. Emily asked me to help pair a Bluetooth speaker she'd bought someone for Christmas. Her ex-boyfriend, Kyle. She claimed they'd become just friends. The speaker appeared in my Bluetooth history for exactly 5 minutes while I helped set it up. Its device ID started with B7C9. No, that couldn't be enough. Thousands of devices shared similar numbers. I needed facts, not assumptions. Another notification interrupted my thoughts. Wine cellar door opened. I froze. We didn't even drink wine. The previous owner built the cellar. I converted it into a document room, insurance papers, tax files, property deeds, safe, backup drives. Only Emily and I knew the keypad code. My pulse quickened. Why would anyone go there? I remotely locked the document room. The system immediately responded. Unable to complete command. Door already open. Meaning someone was standing inside. My phone vibrated again. This time, not from the security app, from my bank. Large purchase approved, $18,450. Denver Luxury Jewelers. Time, 3:11 a.m. I stared at the amount. My credit card never left my wallet. I reached into my pocket. Still there. Then I noticed the last 4 digits. Not my personal card. Our joint account. The emergency account Emily almost never touched. Before I could process that, the home dashboard refreshed itself. One line appeared across the screen. Garage door opened. 30 seconds later. Garage. Door closed. Whatever they came for. They had it now. Cha. I opened the driveway camera. Headlights illuminated the garage. A black SUV slowly backed out. Emily climbed into the passenger seat. The driver adjusted the rearview mirror. For 1 perfect second, the porch light illuminated his face. I knew him instantly. Kyle Mercer, Emily's ex-boyfriend. The man she'd sworn she hadn't spoken to in almost 9 years. He looked directly toward the driveway camera, smiled, and deliberately raised his hand. Not to wave, to show me something. A small silver key hanging from his finger. The spare house key. I thought Emily had thrown away after we got married. I didn't call Emily. I didn't call Kyle. I called someone else. My younger brother, Eric. Not because he was bigger, because he lived 4 houses away. He answered on the first ring. Nate, it's 3 a.m. I know. I need you to go to my house. His voice immediately changed. What's wrong? I looked at the dashboard. They're inside. Who? My wife. And I couldn't bring myself to say Kyle's name. Eric didn't ask questions. I'm leaving now. The blue dot on my dashboard began moving. Eric's truck. I had added his phone to the emergency access list years earlier after my back surgery. For the first time, I was grateful I never removed it. 8 houses, 6 houses, 4 houses, 2 houses. Then, front walkway. Motion detected. Eric had arrived. The driveway camera came alive. The black SUV was still parked outside my garage. Its engine idled quietly. Eric climbed out of his truck. He walked toward the driver's window. Kyle lowered it. They exchanged a few words. I couldn't hear them. Then Eric pointed toward my front door. Kyle shrugged, almost amused. A moment later, Emily stepped outside. She looked startled, not guilty, just surprised someone had interrupted them. Eric held up his phone. Mine started ringing immediately. Video call. I answered. His face filled the screen. Nate, I'm putting you on speaker. Before I could respond, he turned the camera toward Emily. She forced a smile. What is this? I answered from Seattle. I was hoping you'd tell me. She froze. Her eyes widened. Nathan, where are you? In my hotel? And where are you? She laughed nervously. Miami. I quietly rotated my phone toward the live driveway camera. So, who's standing in front of my house? She stopped breathing for a second. Not literally, but close enough. Kyle stepped between the camera and Emily. This isn't your business, I answered calmly. You're standing on my property. It became my business the moment you unlocked my front door. He smirked. Emily invited me. I know. The dashboard already told me. Emily grabbed the phone from Eric. You don't understand. Then help me. Explain why you texted me from Miami while standing in Colorado. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. There wasn't a believable explanation because there wasn't a believable lie left. Then something unexpected happened. Eric frowned. Hold on. He walked past them, toward the garage. The side service door stood slightly open. I watched through the camera as he stepped inside. 30 seconds passed, then 40. Finally, he came back carrying 2 large plastic storage bins. He looked confused. Nate, what was supposed to be in these? My stomach tightened. My father's things. Tools, military medals, old watches, family photo albums, the only possessions I'd kept after Dad passed away. Eric slowly lifted one bin. It was empty, completely empty. Emily looked away. I noticed something else. The back of Kyle's SUV sat much lower than before. Heavy weight. The cargo area was full. I zoomed in using the driveway camera. The rear window wasn't tinted enough. Inside, I recognized the old green toolbox my father bought in 1984. Then, his folded American flag, still inside the wooden display case I'd built myself. My chest tightened. This wasn't about cheating anymore. They weren't sneaking around. They were stealing. I immediately opened another screen. Inventory tracker. Years earlier, I'd hidden small Bluetooth trackers inside several valuables after a neighborhood burglary, mostly for insurance. I rarely thought about them. Tonight, 3 tracker icons suddenly appeared, moving, inside Kyle's SUV. One attached to Dad's metal case, one inside the toolbox, one hidden beneath an antique mantle clock. I smiled for the first time all night, not because I was happy, because they had no idea what they'd just taken. Kyle climbed back into the driver's seat. Emily reached for the passenger door. Before either of them could close it, another notification appeared across my dashboard. Vehicle entering driveway. A second car stopped behind Kyle's SUV. Then a third. The first vehicle belonged to the police. The second belonged to someone I never expected to see at 3:30 in the morning. My attorney, Rachel Donovan. She stepped out carrying a thin black portfolio. Kyle looked annoyed. Emily looked terrified. I stared at my phone. Rachel wasn't supposed to know anything about tonight, which meant someone else had called her before I ever realized my marriage was over. Rachel Donovan closed the driver's door behind her. She looked from the police cruiser to Kyle's SUV, then directly into Eric's phone. Nathan, I've been trying to reach you. I frowned. How did you even know something happened? Rachel held up her phone. Yesterday afternoon. You authorized me to contact you immediately if anyone attempted to access the family trust. My heart skipped. The trust. I had almost forgotten. Almost. 3 months earlier, my accountant convinced me to move nearly everything I owned into a family trust. Not because my marriage was failing, because my roofing company had expanded into 3 states. The trust protected business assets from lawsuits and simplified estate planning. Rachel had insisted on one unusual security feature. If anyone attempts to remove documents from the home safe, the trust company automatically contacts my office. I agreed, then forgot all about it, until now. Rachel continued. At 3:04 this morning, someone opened your document safe. They entered the wrong authorization code twice, then removed several files. Emily slowly lowered her head. Kyle looked toward her. You said you knew the code, she whispered. I thought I did. The police officer stepped forward. Ma'am, would you mind opening the rear cargo compartment? Kyle answered instead. You need a warrant. The officer smiled politely. I wasn't talking to you. Emily quietly reached into her purse, pulled out the key fob, pressed the button. The rear hatch slowly lifted. Nobody said a word. Inside sat everything. My father's military medals, his toolbox, the antique mantel clock, the trust documents, our fireproof safe, even my late mother's jewelry box. Eric stared in disbelief. Nate, they emptied half your house. The officer looked at Emily. Can you explain this? She swallowed hard. Kyle interrupted. Those belong to her. Rachel calmly opened her portfolio. No. They legally belong to the trust. She handed the officer several certified documents. The property inside that residence cannot be removed without written authorization from both trustees. The officer looked up. And who are the trustees? Rachel answered. Nathan Carter. And myself. Kyle's confident smile disappeared. For the first time all night, he realized this wasn't a marital argument. It was becoming a criminal investigation. Emily suddenly burst into tears. Nathan, I wasn't trying to steal from you, I answered quietly. Then why was my father's folded flag in Kyle's SUV? She had no answer. Because there wasn't one. The officer asked another question. Mr. Mercer, do you have permission to possess a key to this residence? Kyle looked toward Emily. She looked at the ground. The silence answered for him. The officer extended his hand. I'll need the key. Kyle slowly placed it into the officer's palm. It was the spare key Emily had promised she'd destroyed the week after our wedding. She hadn't thrown it away. She'd given it to another man. Rachel looked into Eric's phone. Nathan, there's something else. What? She removed one final envelope. This afternoon. You were scheduled to sign these. I recognized them immediately. Updated ownership documents, not divorce papers, business succession papers. Had I signed them as planned, Emily would have become co-owner of nearly every company asset if anything ever happened to me. Rachel smiled gently. I postponed the meeting. I had a bad feeling after the trust alert. I slowly leaned back in my hotel chair. One postponed appointment had probably saved everything I'd spent 20 years building. The officer turned toward Kyle. Sir, please place your hands behind your back. What? You are being detained while we investigate unlawful entry, possession of property believed to have been removed without authorization, and possible conspiracy. Kyle looked at Emily. Tell them. She couldn't. She was crying too hard, not because Kyle was being handcuffed, because she finally understood what she'd thrown away. 6 months later, our divorce was finalized. Emily received exactly what belonged to her under the law. Nothing more, nothing less. The business remained protected. The trust remained intact. The house remained mine. As for Kyle, the criminal charges related to the property theft were resolved through the legal process after the recovered items were returned and the court considered the evidence gathered that night. People still ask me whether it was the front door camera that exposed everything. I always smile. No. It was a tiny notification. A simple vibration on my phone. Most people ignore them. I didn't. And that single alert taught me something I'll never forget. People can rehearse lies. They can coordinate stories. They can even fake being in another city. But a smart home has no reason to lie. It simply records what happened. And sometimes, the truth arrives as quietly as a notification at 3 o'clock in the morning.